one. Okay. So, welcome to Interior and Exterior Maintenance and Repair course. Basically, this training, this slide is going to pretty much not make you a pro, but pretty much give you an idea of what make readies are supposed to look like and what it entails. Okay? So if you guys have any questions pertaining to any specific slide, go ahead and ask, and I will answer to the best of my abilities. So we're going to move on to the first slide, which is the agenda. So the agenda for this training is to make ready maintenance, caulking, sealing and walls, locks, tiles, other interior maintenance and repairs, curb appeals, and exterior building inspections, key takeaways, action plan, and wrap-ups. Okay? So, make ready maintenance. Bullet number one, take notes. Okay? Make an apartment as good as new. Okay? Basically, make the apartment as if you are the one that's going to live there. So the same way that you want to be comfortable living in a unit, that's the same way we need to prep the unit. Okay, seeing a vacant apartment through the eyes of the future resident and your management team. So essentially, we are the eyes for the company and future tenants or residents. Okay, so we want them to have a great experience when they open that door to see the new place where they're going to go live. So let's take a make ready tour with a maintenance pro, courtesy of a brief video. And then we're going to discuss what did we learn from the video. Okay? Let me know if you guys see the video. You guys see the video?
Yes.
A sweet power slide. What's going on, guys? Lex here with another Dirty Maintenance show. And today I want to talk about turning units. I haven't really done any videos about turning units, and just want to do one for my fellow maintenance guys out there. I actually have to turn units also. I'm not out there doing all the glory, just the glorious stuff, the ACs, the leaks. I actually have to do the boring, mundane turns also. So I'll talk about how I do it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm not saying do it my way or you're doing it wrong. Just letting you know how I do it. Hopefully help out some new techs, give them a good idea. And you would think that turning wouldn't be an issue, but it is. Learning how to turn, I've literally worked with guys, I swear, they do this. They come in, they close the door, they just walk around. That looks good. Oh yeah, it looks good in here. Yep, looks good. And then they leave. Didn't touch anything, didn't turn anything on, I swear. So, don't do that, you guys. I'll try to give you a little blueprint of what to do. So the first thing I do when I walk in, I get all the globes. Take all the globes down, all the light globes. And I'll dump the roaches and the bugs in a trash bag. Get all the 2 or 3 years of roaches and bugs out of them. Then I'll put them in the dishwasher, and then turn the dishwasher on. And then I'll wash the 2 inches of dust off of them. And then when it's done, I'll take the globes out, hang them back up. So that's the first thing I do when I come in. Take the globes out, or take the globes down, put them in the dishwasher. Then I'll come over here. With the company I work for, we have to change the toilet seats. We have to put the toilet seats in after the old resident leaves and leave the plastic on. So I'll do the toilet seat. I'll put a new shower rod in. We have to cut ours down to size. I use a pipe wrench for that. And then I'll do all the doorknobs, make sure they're all tight, because I hate getting bogged down messing around with a loose doorknob. So that's it. I do all the tedious stuff first. Then I'll start my turn. I'm right-handed, so I start on my right side. I'll just hug the right side of the wall, go all the way around. So what's the first thing on my right side? Deadbolt. Make sure they're good. Door latches. I'll just keep going to my right. Door stops there. Looks good. Two bulbs in the globe or in the light up there. Wall looks good. I'll check the AC. Just put I've already turned this one, so it's already done. Just showing you what I do. Filter's good. I'll check the coil. Coil looks awesome. If it needed cleaning, I would clean the coil. I also put a drain tab in there too. It helps keep all the gunk out of there. That little white pill thing there. Put a drain tab in. And I'll check for leaks. Everything looks good. No leakies. Door latches. Door handle's already been tightened because I hate dealing with that, so I'll go ahead and do that. Still hugging the right side of the wall. Put a little pressure on here to make sure it doesn't come out. And that's it, man. Just keep going around the right. It's good. Bulbs are good. Okay, I'll check my door. Make sure it latches. That's it, man. You get the point. I'll just keep going around the right. Looking at the wall, floor to ceiling. Bulb's good. So say, for example, I came and I see that outlet cover is cracked. I would take care of it right then. I don't say, okay, that's cracked, I'll remember it, I'll come back, because you won't. I don't, at least. And if I see something broken, take care of it right there. I don't do the whole, I'll remember that and I'll come back. Or pull the old pad out and write it down. As you can see here, I needed some balance clips and some spackle. I mean, do you want a second brain? Do you want a secretary reminding you of things? Right here. $1 for a pack of 3 at the dollar store. So yeah, don't do the whole, yeah, that's broken, I'll come back, because you won't remember. Write it down or fix it right then. I'll just keep coming around my right side. That's good. I'll check the refrigerator. There's ice. I know it's good. It's cold. Run my sink. I just put the water in the middle, get it going down both sides to check both gaskets at the same time. Look under there for a leak. Check disposal. Good. Still hugging it right. Check all of my cabinets. Make sure they're not loose. That they open and close good. I'll check the oven first. Make sure that all the elements get hot. And once it cools, I'll pull the elements out, take the old drip pans out, throw them away. I'll supply them with new drip pans. Our cleaner requests that we leave all this over here so we can clean the oven and stuff. So that's why that's out. Check the microwave. I've already done it. It works. It's good. Still hugging the right side. I'll do a bust a bead of caulk if I need it. There's my caulk. Good. But yeah, you get the point. I just roll around the right side, checking all the blinds. Touch everything, guys. You text, touch everything. Turn the fan on. If it's wobbling, take care of it right then. Bulbs. Make sure you touch everything. That's what the resident's going to do when they come into their new apartment. And there's nothing worse than getting off on the wrong foot with a new resident and having a 2.7 mile long move-in inspection. So once I'm done turning, once I'm done hugging the right side of the wall, come around, fix anything, fix bulbs, all that stuff, I'll take my bugger here. This is called a cobweb duster. You can find it in your HD book, or you can go to Home Depot or something, or Lowe's. It just goes, it screws on the end of a broomstick. You just put it on the end of a broomstick, and I'll go out on the porch here and scrub all the spider webs and the spider eggs and all that stuff off the wall. Get it looking nice and fresh for them again. I've used a broom. And yeah, broom will do it, but just the spider eggs with a broom just seem to just go from side to side. It never goes off the wall. This right here grabs it and just one swipe, boom, all the spider eggs are gone. I love it. Spider or cobweb duster, if you're looking for one. I got a video on it also on my channel. That's it, man. Hope this helps out some of you guys. I pull all the nail holes and spackle the holes so when the painter comes, he can just blow and go. He don't have to get bogged down with doing holes and stuff. But that's it, you guys. You know, if you're left-handed, you come in, start there, and hug the left side of the wall. Fixing everything along the left side. If you're right-handed, go along the right side. Just fixing stuff as you go. That's it, guys. Don't come in here and just, you know, poke your head in and say, oh, yeah, looks good, then walk out, because you're gonna pay for it. I hope this helps some of you guys out. Thank you for watching the Dirty Maintenance Show.
All right, so let's discuss. So what did we learn from this video? Joe?
Don't trust your memory. Touch everything.
Okay. John? John, can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You know, you gotta touch everything, touch everything, touch everything. You know, just putting your hands on the blinds and say, okay, they look pretty good, isn't good enough. You gotta turn those vents all the way closed and all the way open. Pull it all the way up and all the way down. You know, I would have actually checked under the sink while I was running the water to make sure I didn't have any leaks coming down instead of just saying no bubbles or something like that. You know, he didn't put his hand all the way in the refrigerator, you know, just to make sure it was cold enough. I mean, I just really, you can't get too nitty gritty when you're doing that move out inspection. You know, you got to put your hands on everything. I'd have my outlet tester with me. I'd have checked every single outlet.
Okay. Chris?
What I learned from it is that there's a more efficient way to doing things than rather just going in the house and just checking it out, like he said. Like, oh, this is good. I like how he really touched on with, you know, start from the right side or the left side and going around the house and checking for things. And I also like the fact that small things like, you know, outlets, you know, how you could do those instantly. I really liked how you touched up on that when you're inspecting a house and just getting the make ready. So that's really what I learned, is that there's a more efficient way to do it than just walking in and, you know, checking things, you know.
Okay, so make ready checklist and inspections. How many of you use checklists for make ready maintenance? John?
I used to. We probably should. In my arrogance, so I just do the left wall thing, and I write down anything that I find that needs to be taken care of.
Okay, we probably should. No, we should.
Yes,
We should.
especially for the inexperienced guys, just to get them in the habit. I mean, like you and me, it's tattooed in our brains.
Mm-hmm.
But just as a standard, we should have something written down for them.
So here's that word again. Make ready board. We spoke about that in today's meeting. Okay, very important. Assignment sheet. So if we're assigning a painter, we give him a sheet because he signs off on it. Something happens, he's to be held accountable. So accountability is number one in this business. Okay. And how does the community handle make-ready inspections? Something that we need to work on as far as doing the final walkthrough before a tenant does and just walks into a disaster. So we have to grill that into our daily thing when we're doing unit inspections. Any questions on that?
So just to kind of touch up on the make ready board, what does that consist of?
So the make ready board is basically a schedule of your vendors. So if once a move-out inspection is done, then I go to the board and my dates go in there. Dates for trash out, dates for painting, dates for carpet replacement or cleaning, and dates for unit cleaning. The only bad thing about our company is that we have to wait for the owner to give us the approval versus us just scheduling everything and getting everything done. If this board is followed according to the schedule, we'll be essentially turning a unit within a week's time to 2 weeks versus 6 weeks to like 6 months. So the owner doesn't lose money, we don't lose money. So make ready board is pretty much a virtual language for leasing and everyone else to understand what's going on in the field, what's going on with that house or that unit.
All right.
Okay. So make ready checklist and inspection. So the first inspection identifies the overall condition of the apartment. The second inspection verifies that the apartment is ready for its new residents. So between the first and the second, and between that's when your vendors are doing what they're supposed to do, whether it's painting, cleaning, carpet replacement, so on. So the second inspection is done right after all your scheduled tasks are completed for that unit. So if you use the make ready checklist to track the make ready process, you would not fail. You would not forget and stuff like that. So using the make ready board to track the make ready process, it's essentially an easier way of communicating with everyone and also communicating with yourself. Because I mean, we all forget things, you know? So for example, Joe, let's say you call me and you say, hey, when is 555, Townhouse Road is going to be completed, right?
Right.
I can tell you, all right, Joe, the trash out was done on 5/3. The painting was done on 5/5. Maintenance is going to be in on the 6th. And then the carpets will be cleaned on the 8th. And the cleaners will be done on the 10th. So it gives me a make-ready date of the 12th. I always push 2 days, so the last day we can walk the unit to make sure nothing happens. So you'll know by my schedule that unit is going to be ready on the 12th. You understand?
Yeah.
So if we have the make ready board, there's no way to fail. Versus you not having anything to reference to, and then I'll say, okay, Joe, it's going to be ready on the 12th, but then I forgot to call my carpet guy. So the tenant walks in and the carpet is all dirty and stained. So it's kind of an organizational chart to pretty much help you out and keep everyone in the loop.
How would you apply it to like some of our more non-traditional, sometimes we have to do like a complete renovation on the house, or I mean, there's several items that, like for example, we just had one on Yorkshire where there was extensive water damage, and it took like weeks to get that done.
Well, it took weeks because we're not holding our vendors accountable. Okay, we have to remember something. We don't work for vendors. Vendors work for us. So there is an expectation. So if I call a vendor and says, listen, I need this done within 2 weeks, okay? Because if we let these vendors just go on and do whatever they want, they're going to just do whatever they want. But if you go to the vendor, you say, listen, I need this done in 2 weeks. Can you do it? If he says yes, then fine, I want it in 2 weeks. If he says no, depending on the urgency, I'll find somebody else who can do it for me. You understand? Because we're essentially paying these people for a service. And we are losing money when a vendor is spending 6 weeks. I don't think it doesn't take 6 weeks to fix water damage. Unless you got to change all the pipes in the house, stuff like that. If you just got to change sheetrock, it does not take 6 weeks to do. That's like really impossible. So,
Yeah.
If we don't hold these vendors accountable, then they're just going to just do whatever they want. So if I call a vendor and I tell a vendor, listen, I need you to come in such and such date, and he's giving me the runarounds, I'll find him somebody else who wants to do the job. There's more than one vendor out there. I've worked with vendors before, and they know how I am. I need you this certain day. If you cannot, accommodate that day for me, I'll find someone else to do it. Because it's not fair that someone else has to wait, because when you decide you want to come do the job, it doesn't work like that. Vendors work for me. I don't work for them. Right. So they have to be held accountable.
What kind of pointers can you give? Like, as you know, we do like a move-in inspection or a move-out inspection and then a move-in inspection.
Mm-hmm.
It's critical that, since the people who are going to do the job are not the ones that are doing the inspection. So basically they do the inspection and then we get the report and the pictures. Then we send it for, send a quote and send it to the client for approval.
So one point that I would make is someone has to have boots on ground here, because someone overseas cannot make a determination of an inspection just by looking at pictures. So someone has to physically see when they do that inspection. The same thing with a move-in inspection. I just found out today that we give tenants codes and they just go and look at the apartment. That's I don't agree with that. There should be somebody on ground here that can meet the tenant in the house and show them the apartment. Because one, we don't know who's going into the unit, So,
right.
But
we use like lockbox code that's unique for each showing, and they have to provide identification before we give them access.
I understand that, but let's just say that a tenant goes in and the tenant has a broken foot, right? And the tenant goes into the unit and guess what? I need money. I broke my foot in this house. I'm suing. How do we know if this happened in the house or happened outside the house? You understand what I'm saying? I'm thinking in terms of liability for the company.
Right. I mean, I guess if there's like an issue where there's like a broken step or, some obvious repair that wasn't done, that they could say, well, I tripped on this, or there's a hole in the floor and I fell through it or something,
Exactly. But they can also play the card where they entered the unit and tripped over something. You know, well, where's the object? Oh, I removed it. We have no way of telling. But that's another topic we'll get into, and I just wanted us to stick to the training here. But you and I can sit and talk, and we can go over all that stuff. But we're gonna move forward with the training, and then if you wanna, tomorrow we can get together and talk, and you know, we can brainstorm on how we can do things. But essentially, you know, the inspections, the first one is when the tenant moves out and they go do the inspection, and that's how we determine what to charge the tenant, what repairs you're gonna need. And by you doing the move-out inspection, you already know pretty much how long the work is gonna take to get that house going, you know? So then the second inspection will be, once all your vendors are done, you go and you inspect the unit, and then you sign off to see if that unit is ready for moving or not. You know? So if you go and you find something out of the ordinary, then you bring it up to the maintenance, you know, the maintenance department, and let them go and take care of it. You know? I would rather one of us find something than a tenant find something.
Right.
You know? So I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is the debriefing. So what maintenance issues did you find during the inspection?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
So pretty much whatever issues you found, okay, then you write your notes on the checklist and you note it down. What things stood out that looked good? So let's say you're going to do an inspection and the unit doesn't need paint, just maybe needs a little touch up. So you're gonna note that. You know, that saves us bringing in a vendor to do painting. What was the easiest about the inspection? And what was the hardest? Like your pros and cons. So were there any items damaged by the prior resident? Will the prior resident have to pay for any of these damaged items? Yes. The way we gave you the unit is the way you have to turn it when you move out. If the unit is not turned in the way we gave it to you, this is why it's important to do move-in inspections, because the tenant could say, well, this was like this when I moved in. So if we don't have that inspection on record, guess what? We just lost money because we have no way of proving if it was like that or not. So it's very important that we are, you know, detailed and we're following the steps. So we will have a smooth, you know, move in and a move out. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Joe, any questions?
No.
Chris, any questions?
No, I got it.
Okay, so we're moving on to caulking. And this is one of my biggest pet peeves. When someone caulks, I don't like thick caulking. You know, you only have to seal the joints. That's it. You know, you only have to seal the joint. You have to scrape it out, and you have to reapply new caulking on it. A lot of people use, you know, masking tape to do the edges, but if you are skilled in caulking, you don't need that. You know, you cut yourself a 1/4-inch hole on your tube, you know, at an angle, at a 45-degree angle, and then, you know, you run it through, you wet your finger, and you just swipe it, and you got a great caulking going on, okay? And then just finish up the job. So basically, you know, this is more for the maintenance tech. So this is pretty much, you know, a towel thing right here. So I would cut it at a 45-degree angle at a 1/4-inch hole, and just enough to fill in the gaps inside. That's all you need. You don't need to have caulking on the top, caulking on the wall. That just looks ridiculous. Because what happens is water's going to get behind there eventually, and then it's just going to start peeling away. You know, and that's when you get your damages to your water leaks and stuff like that. Okay? Any questions on that?
Nope.
Moving forward. Okay, so we're gonna go into ceiling and walls. So fixing dents and then gouging drywall. So you trim away any loose or frayed paper, you prepare your joint compound, you apply your joint compound, you let the compound dry. After it dries, you apply a second coat of joint compound. When the patch is dry, sand and prime. Sounds easy, right? It's not.
Yeah.
You know, you have to know what you're doing. I mean, I've seen people apply joint compound. I'm like, what are you, baking a cake? You know, it's like, come on, guys. You know, so it takes practice and it takes skills. All right. So, sealing walls, fixing a pop nail or screw in drywall. That is the easiest thing to do. Okay, it is the easiest thing to do. You pull out a nail from a wall or a screw, you have that little indentation sticking out, correct?
Yeah.
Right? So you have two things. You can either take your spackle knife and just scrape right on it, make it even, or just use a hammer to indent it in. Okay? All you need is a small.
How you doing?
Hey, high five.
You like microphones for my me.
Yeah.
Ready?
Ready?
Oh, nice. All right, dude, let's do it.
All you need is a small amount of joint compound in the hole just to cover the hole. That's it. You don't need to make a big square and so on and so forth. Okay? So, for example, so carefully dimple the pop nail using a hammer. Fill the dimple with joint compound and allow compound to dry. Apply a second coat of joint compound. Sand the area with fine grit sandpaper, white prime, and paint surface. So, any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, so now we're going to get into holes in the wall. So there are different ways that you can repair a hole. Depending on what it is, you can either square out the hole, put a piece of wood behind the hole so it can catch the drywall, or you can use mesh tape. You know, you cut yourself, you know, square or whatever, put it over the hole and just spackle right over it. And that should take care of your problem. So if you look at the picture here, okay, this right here, it's a wire mesh, it's a tape that sticks to the wall. I prefer using the paper method versus this, because the paper I can wet, and with the mixture of the plaster and the compound, it'll get hard fast. Okay, so here you pretty much spackle what you need to spackle, and this kind of be your finishing touch here. So it's like you know, like I call it artwork, you know. So any questions on that? Moving forward. So sealing walls, patch a larger hole in drywall. So as I was saying with the wood, you see this here? So you just stick a piece of wood inside the hole, and that's going to serve as your base. So you can put the other piece of sheetrock in it. You cut the sheetrock, and then as you notice here, he's taping. What I like to do is I like to cut the sheetrock a little bit bigger, and then inside cut out the sheetrock to the sides of the hole and use that same paper as my mesh, where I don't have to tape. So it'll be, I can use it as if I'm using mesh or compound tape. So that's one method I learned throughout my time. Okay, so you prepare the opening. So if you have, let's say, a hole that's coming this way, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut yourself a square so you can fit a nice even piece in there without trying to cut and do mathematics and stuff like that. All right, so you install the support blocking, which is this here. Okay, install the drywall patch, okay, which is this here. Okay, so, and then apply joint compound, which is this here. Okay, which is kind of messed up because joint compound is being applied on number 6, not number 5. So that was my mess up. Okay, and then you prime and paint, and that's it. Job done. Questions? Okay, so perfect. I had a job like this today. So when repairing plaster, okay, widen the surface of the crack using a hammer or a chisel. Remove the debris. You have to wet the surface so the plastic can have something to grab onto. Spread plaster patch material. Allow time to dry. Apply second coat of patch material. Sand surface. smooth, prime, and paint. Simple. It's pretty much cut and dry, you know. With practice, you know, you'll become better at it. All right, so repairing orange peel surface. So you prepare the ready mix joint compound, apply compound with a 3/8 nap roller. Okay, that's that textured sealing kind of thingy, which I really hate. Allow time to dry, lightly sand, rub the repair area with cloths, prime and paint. Okay. Okay, repairing orange peel surface. So the aerosol spray technique. Always protect the area with plastic. You know, if you're working with sheetrock, dust, always protect the area with plastic. Okay, protect working area. Read instructions for spray texture. Hold spray can 12 to 24 inches from the surface. Spray using circular motions and let dry on the paint. That's that sort of like that popcorn sealing sort of thing. You know, that's what they use, you know, to make like the textures on the ceilings, which I'm not a big fan of, because if you have to do a patch repair or something, it's kind of difficult to match that same pattern, you know, so it looks really ridiculous. Okay, same thing. This is more conventional, high commercial way of doing the orange peel surface. So some people use pressure sprayer, you know, which is the same thing. Protect working areas, read the instructions, 3 to 4 feet. Move the spray in a sweeping motion, rinse and clean equipment, let dry and paint. So it's pretty much, we're not going to be dealing with this. So, you know, but you never know, you might come across it sometime in your life. Okay, now we're going to get into tile. Okay, you have any questions before we move on to tiles, Joe or John or Chris?
No.
Okay, so tiles. If you're gonna regrout a tub, okay, I've seen people that just regrout over the existing grout while it's like stained and soap scum. Your grout is never gonna stick. It's never gonna stick. So you pretty much have to clean it, you know. So you can use either bleach, Tilex. I use baking soda and vinegar. You know, so you spray it. You know, let the cleaner soak into the grout. Scrub grout with a stiff brush. Dry the grout with a clean cloth. Apply grout sealer, clean, and just keep clean. So like I said, I've seen people just go in and just slap grout on top of grout. It's like caulking. They'll do the caulking on top of the old caulking, and I'm like, oh, it just drives me nuts. You know. So that's something that, you know, we need to make sure that the techs out in the field doing the make-readies are not doing, you know, making sure they're doing it correctly.
And that is something that me and Nelson will always be able to tell right off the bat. There's no hiding that if you do a crappy job on it.
Exactly. Okay, so regrouting tile. Again, so you scrub the tile with grout cleaner, removes damaged grout with a grout saw. Okay. You see, this is what a grout saw looks like. It goes in between the grooves of the tile, and it pretty much just cuts right into it. Okay, apply grout and sealer. Mix the grout damp area. So you take a damp rag and you wet the wall, and then you apply the new grout. Smooth the grout out. So I use a grout float, which is a rubber. And what happens is that when I run it, I want to make sure that I'm going 2 ways. I'm going from left to right, up and down, because I want to make sure that I get all those joints filled in. All right. Smooth the grout, let the grout dry, clean and apply grout sealer. So there's no way that you should be leaving grout on the wall looking like that. No way. Because once that dries, you got work to do. You know? So you basically just, with the rubber, just get rid of it, and then you come in after everything dries with a sponge, and all that comes out, you know, easily. Okay? So moving forward. Okay, so So replacing the tile. So, which reminds me, this is one of the jobs I have to do. We're trying to wait for the owner so we can match that tile. But you remove the damaged tile, okay, install replacement tile, and apply grout. So you clean everything around, and then you make sure that the grout can sit in. Because if you have debris, that grout is going to stick up or it's going to crack again. All right? Any questions on grouting?
No.
Okay, so curb appeal and exterior inspection. When you're dealing with a vacant house, unfortunately, we're dealing with a vacant house. So part of your make ready is the exterior of that house. Okay, if you walk that house during inspection, you know that the bushes need trimming, the grass needs cutting, branches are laying all over the place. That is part of the make ready, because when someone drives by and we have our rent sign out in front of the house, okay, they want to see what their future house is going to look like when they do the landscaping and stuff like that. You know. Also, I want to implement also that on a daily basis. You know, techs on the field need to drive by these houses, make sure there's no garbage on the lawn, no papers, you know, stuff like that. You know, curb appeal is very, very important because it'll tell the tenant if your outside looks crappy, I could just imagine what your inside looks like. You understand? So curb appeal is very important. Okay. Well, that's the end of the training. So thank you for being part of today's exterior maintenance repair course. Okay, I will be sending out some questions to test your knowledge. So any questions on any of what we spoke about?
No, I think that was pretty straightforward as to with grout and replacing tiles and corking. Definitely a lot of bathroom work. Is definitely about, you know, people need work on the bathroom. Kind of like what you and I did Monday, where she needed corking on her tiles. So it was pretty much just like that. Very simple. Definitely easy jobs. When you have experience, it gets very quickly. But I really like this course. I think it was really understanding and it made a lot of sense. So
okay. So grade and comments. John, what would you grade this training? John.
Yeah, I'm here. I liked it a lot. I just call it an 8 or a 9.
Okay, why?
For what it was good. I think that you know, it's easy to point out how to do it, but as you and I both know, tile can be very demanding, and so can grouting. It's there's definitely got to be a feel to it, and there's different tricks we can get into detail with only if you're doing it.
Okay.
But this is a good place to start at.
Awesome. John, grade and why? Joe, sorry.
You talking to me or Joe?
Joe, sorry.
I would give it an 8. I thought it was very informative. I mean, it gives you the basics of what is required and how, you know, how to go about it. So, yeah, I would say an 8.
Chris, grade and why?
I definitely give it a 9 out of 10, which is a very good grade. And like I said, it was very straightforward. It wasn't beating around the bush. It really just makes you think, especially with curb appeal and exterior inspections. You know, you said it best that when you see somebody's when you see somebody's house on the outside, you can only imagine how it is on the inside. They're not taking care of the outside. Obviously, on the inside, you're going to get a lot of surprises. And I also seen, you know, a lot of that today with Demario. So I definitely give it a 9 because speaking from experience, yeah, it was very accurate.
Welcome, Alex.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry about that, man.
No problem. Unfortunately, you missed the training.
Just for the experience, guys, a good way to practice grouting is to go out and get you a piece of some cheap ceramic clearance tile and just try to do both sides of it. Just get a feel for it.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm gonna end the recording. And I guess we can discuss on a side note. I can answer Joe's question about the work that needed to be done and stuff like that. So I'm gonna stop the video.